Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, Holiday Inn Express, the Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn, Russell Street Report, the original Green Turtle, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
In April 1959, Art Wall won the Masters, edging out Carey Middlecoff and Arnold Palmer by finishing birdie, 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 par birdie. 1 month later, Ocean City Golf Club celebrated the opening of their first 18 holes. That course has been transformed now into one of the most scenic golf layouts on the East Coast. Come experience 36 of the most beautiful and challenging holes you'll find anywhere. Ocean City Golf Club in Ocean City, Maryland.
Another installment of the original Green Turtles Ravens Wrap show here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio 93.5 The Beach. We are broadcasting from the Ravens room here at the Blue Ox Bar and Grill, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City, and we're with Ravens News 44. Give yourselves a hand, guys. It is week number 4 of the NFL, and for your Baltimore Ravens coming up, we are going to recap the 31-30 victory, the Ravens over the New England Patriots. We'll talk news and notes, recap the AFC North, and preview the upcoming game, a Thursday night affair against the Cleveland Browns. Hey, the Ravens Wrap Show brought to you by the original Green Turtle, also the Blue Ox Bar and Grill, Bud Light, the Comfort Inn Gold Coast, the Ocean City Golf Club, the Holiday Inn Express, and our friends at Geico. Mike Bradley from 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore. To my left, our buddy Joel, who was a Ravens Roost member and a guest host. We had Steve last week, and Joel's in this week. So, Joe, welcome on board. First time 2012.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
To our left, from the RussellStreetReport.com, Editor-in-Chief Tony Lombardi. Tony, welcome back.
Nice. Good to be here.
And OC Local, maybe former OC Local. These guys don't run you out of town. OC Local and former Lehigh College player John Gehrig. John, welcome back as always. Well, to be fair, John wasn't the only one that picked against the Ravens last week. I did as well. So, hey, I am very happy to be wrong, but I heard about it coming in. But hey, you guys, that's fine by me. I'd rather have that than it be the other way around. I didn't want to be right coming in here today. I can tell you that. Guys, I guess lots to get to in this program. I mean, the way this game shaped up here, it's a rematch of the AFC Championship game from last year. A very tough loss for the Ravens. A game in which, at the very end, it comes down to a field goal with a kicker who replaced Billy Cundiff, who missed the kick that would have tied the game in the AFC Championship game. So you had that. And then very sad news that came out, the wide receiver Torrey Smith's brother had passed away in a motorcycle accident at 12:30 Sunday morning. He got the report at 1:30 in the morning, drove to Northern Virginia to be with family, but ended up coming back and playing for the Ravens in their game, and had a phenomenal one at that. So a lot of different storylines, guys, and I'll kind of, with that, let you take it away.
Yeah, first of all, Torrey, I mean, horrible news to hear, and for him to come out and play like that, I thought was just amazing. The way that he played and played for his brother, and what a great game he had. As far as the game itself and going back to the rematch, it was just as good as the, unfortunately we were on the losing side last year, but great game. I know I was at the game, and the last 2-3 minutes, I know nobody was sitting down that place. You were literally, just it was a tight one, but it came out on top.
Tony, from the opening credits, I was not at the game, but from the opening credits with NBC, you could absolutely hear the noise like none other environment, and they made mention of it quite a bit throughout the game. And M&T Bank Stadium clearly right up there in the top 3 of one of the loudest stadiums in the NFL. And boy, they brought it for all 4 quarters.
Well, like you said, Mike, at the top of the show with their credits and just introducing the show, you had Al Michaels going through his normal monologue, introduced Chris Collinsworth, and he was trying to get him to dovetail on the last comment he made. And Chris Collinsworth said, whatever you said, because I didn't hear a word you said. He said, this place is going nuts already. And I thought one of the funniest things that came out of the broadcast was Al Michaels called the chant that we heard throughout M&T Bank Stadium, the manure chant, the loudest manure chant he's ever heard in his life.
That's right.
So it was very interesting. But to dovetail on what Joel said about Torrey Smith, what a class act. And this is another one of those situations where the Ravens really focused on character. They really prioritize character with their players. I can tell you, folks, that this locker room is as close as any locker room that I've been around for the Ravens as long as I've been covering the team. And I think the way they galvanize, it's stories like this that you look back on a season, a successful season sometimes, and you look at some of the things that happen. Art Modell passes away. Torrey Smith, his brother, passes away. These kinds of things really pull a team together. And I think it was Ralph Friedgen said it best about Torrey Smith, that God created the perfect person in Torrey Smith, and that guy is just a class act.
John, you take a look at this Ravens team, and a lot of people can say, okay, this is rematch, this is revenge. And yeah, Ray Lewis even talked about his pregame speech, which NBC called on TV. But I think if you ask John Harbaugh, yeah, it's a new season, and a win over the Patriots did not, get us to the Super Bowl this year. It's not. I mean, it's not gonna right what happened last year. It's a new year. It's a new start. It's a big win against an AFC team that may end up playing us again, but maybe this time we actually get them at home in the playoffs. So it's big, but it's to say revenge. Hey, that's not going to bring us back to the Super Bowl, but a great win nonetheless, though.
Look, this is football. We saw last year what happens when we don't take every game seriously. So when it's one of 16 games, and that's one game that we don't take seriously on Monday Night Football in Jacksonville, puts us in New England instead of New England in Baltimore, which you're talking about. You see how it all ties together. You're talking about on a regular season game in Week 3 how loud it is. Imagine what would have happened in Week 17 in Baltimore in the playoffs, or 18, or whatever it was. So, every game's important. This is not a typical Ravens win. People are saying, I can't believe, did the Ravens really win this one? I mean, the Ravens find a way to lose these games, not win them. So in Week 3, we talked about last week how beating the Eagles wasn't a deal breaker on if they would have lost the game, but if they would have won the game, how it really could build the confidence going forward. I think that is exactly what happened going forward. It's going to be exciting now. So we figure out a way to beat these great teams in a close game down the stretch, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Going forward, this is a good sign.
I guess to first start out with the positives in this game, and certainly on the offensive side, there was a lot of positives in the game. Joe Flacco gets off to a rough start with an interception, but he bounces back in this game. And I thought one of the reasons why he had a lot of success, guys, the offensive line played phenomenally. I know Mike Preston gave him an A. I give him an A, guys. No sacks on Joe Flacco. They had a pretty good pass rush coming at him. The front four of New England's pretty good, especially on the outside. Chandler Jones, who they drafted, is a good rush end. But Osemele, Michael Orr, they held up very well. Joe had time to throw the football. And then, of course, in the running game, guys, we absolutely gashed them left and right. And Ray Rice with over 100 yards rushing.
I was a little apprehensive at the beginning of the season about this offensive line. I really just I thought they were suspect. I really didn't think they were going to gel the way they are. I'm really impressed with the way they're playing. Hey, Michael Orr didn't jump off sides either.
That's right.
That's always a good game. And I actually think Michael is starting to fit in that groove now. I think I think he may have found his place, and I think if they continue to run the ball and move the ball, I think as an offensive line, when you're running the ball successfully, that really builds up their confidence. And Joe was untouched for the most part, really. So, I mean, they did a great job.
Yeah, I think when you look at what they're doing with the running game, I think with their way they're loosening up defenses on the outside with Jacoby Jones and Torrey Smith, and you've got Dennis Pitta getting into the flow. So there's a lot more weaponry that the opponents have to really account for. And when you do that, I think it opens up some running lanes, as we're seeing with Ray Rice. The offensive line, I'm not too quick to jump on board and say they're going to be the line, because for this reason, I think this line was built the way it is right now to accommodate the fast break offense, to do the no huddle. I think these guys are the best conditioned 5 linemen that they have. But when you go into that slow down mode, like we saw in Philadelphia, they got the snot knocked out of them in Philadelphia. So I'll reserve judgment until I see them go on the road against a good team and see what they can do against those kind of guys.
It's a top-notch pass rush, though, with Philadelphia, and they did get a couple of sacks on Joe in that one as well. But, certainly New England's not as good as Philadelphia, but still pretty good. But, I'm with you. It is early on, Tony, to be fair enough. Certainly, though, I think we can all agree in the run game. This is a team through the first 3 games. It's gashed Cincinnati, Philadelphia, and New England. So we know that's there. And, with our receivers, hopefully Joe's going to get the ball out of his hand quicker and is going to be able to do that. John, you take a look at this game. We were talking with Papo before the program. They tried to go and throw the ball deep early on, and that cover 2. I mean, New England switched back to a 4-3 with 2 deep safeties, and they didn't want to give up the big play. They tried to go deep early on, tried to get Smith behind the corners and the safeties, wasn't working. But Cam Cameron quickly, though, I think, found that, hey, let's run this football, let's get Ray Rice involved, and that'll open up the passing game later on. It certainly did. Torrey Smith had a big game.
Torrey Smith had a big game, and Tony, talk about the weapons. We talk about these weapons a lot here this season, but they're all complementary weapons. And you see how the speed kills on the outside with Jacoby and Torrey Smith, and Pitt has found his groove, and Ray Rice is now wide open underneath. I mean, it was a couple years ago when Ray Rice was constantly getting spied on. Now the defenses can't cover all the guys that way. We haven't even talked about Ed Dixon out there and Bolden. I mean, so this is a situation where the weapons complement each other, and someone's going to be open. Joe just needs to, he just can't, just because he's going to have to read the defense and avoid those interceptions like he did on the first drive. Yeah. But I mean, the weapons are there, and the offensive line's blocking. The defensive line was in the playoff game for the Patriots was a key reason they won the game. We completely controlled the line of scrimmage for the most part.
Tony, I thought the ultimate compliment to the Ravens offense and how we've come 180, I think, from a run team to a very much a balanced team. When asked at halftime by Michelle Tavoya about the fact that the Ravens were gashing them in the running game, he said, look, you can't just focus on one thing with the Ravens. If we go to stop the run, they've got weapons in the passing game that can expose us, and then vice versa. If we try to stop the pass, they're going to gash us in the running game. The Ravens have come a long way, and it's nice to be able to have that balance and be able to attack them both in the pass and run. And we talk about Torrey Smith, Jacoby Jones also with a big game, 3 big catches on Sunday.
Yeah, you're talking about Bill Belichick, what he said at halftime, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think when you have, and John just touched on this, when you have all these players that can spread the field, the key thing for me is that in the past, you could spy Ray Rice, as John said. You can jam that safety up in the box. Now you've got 8 guys in the box. You're trying to create running lanes, and it's difficult to do. But now they've got to drop back, and it leaves the field wide open. It makes the play action more effective, and Joe's selling it a lot better this year, too.
No question about it. And Joel, about 60 seconds left, but you take a look at this team, and when we've needed to bolster the secondary, Ozzie Newsome's gone out and attacked that and gotten those guys in here offensively. He's retooled the offensive line. He's gotten added weapons for Joe. Now's the time that we've kind of have everything to go on the run, and again, it's a credit, I think, to what Ozzie's doing.
Yeah, but just got to keep in mind, everybody, we've been a defensive team for years. Defense wins Super Bowls, we know that, but we're going to have to give a little bit, and we're seeing that. Our defense is going to bend a little bit this year, but you can't. It's the hardest thing to do in the NFL is to be able to have, to be great at both.
You can't be great at everything.
But you know what? Ozzie's done a great job, and this offense is definitely the best I think I've ever seen.
More to come. It's the Ravens Wrap Show on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio 93.5 The Beach.
Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, Holiday Inn Express, the Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn, Russell Street Report, the original Green Turtle, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
Welcome to the Comfort Inn Gold Coast. Conveniently located just 1 block from the beach and adjacent to shopping at the Gold Coast Mall and the movie theater. Newly renovated and open year-round with a marvelous bayfront view. Visit us on the web at comfortgoldcoast.com and see our hot deals and great golf packages, or simply call our direct reservation line to plan your stay.